back, Mastercrafted Gaming fans. Caleb and Kyle coming to you with another Kings of War strategy session. So I'm going to pretend like I'm Robert Downey Jr. for another time. I'm never letting that go, by the way. But actually, unlike Robert Downey Jr., I'm going to shut up for a second. Kyle's going to talk about a strategy that he likes to employ.
This is one that is called the flank denial. Something that is so commonplace in fantasy wargaming is people trying to set up a flank charge. Similar to a previous video that we did where a pincer attack is a dual flank charge in this case. What this strategy does is kind of a predetermined, I'm doing this before game starts because you have to deploy that way. And you make a conscious decision that no matter what, I'm not going to get flanked and that I am going to defend that at all costs. Because in a lot of times, cavalry heavy armies, they're really going to tear you up if they get a real heavy flank. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how I set this up. What you do is you use an entire board edge to deny one flank with the bulk of your army. What I've done is I've taken two heavy anvil anchor blocks that are going to deny any kind of a flank coming in here, and then three of the hardest hitters available. Yep. These units are going to have an opportunity to do what they need to do. The chaff here in front is going to have an opportunity to soften up anything coming in with bow shots, etc. They've also got an opportunity to kind of feint a little bit. If you need to move up with them and get some kind of a distraction unit, some kind of bait that you want to put out there, and then maybe potentially set up a charge. You got to remember, in Kings of War, you're able to move through units. You can't charge through them. But if this guy needs to move up through this unit, he can. It's not something that we recommend in this case, because the units that are back here, what you want to do with them is intercept. These guys are going to turn and face and basically cover the middle ground of the battlefield. And on your first turn, you're able to do an entire screen. This causes your army to collapse in, or your opponent's army to collapse in at this point. At that, you've now taken the entire battlefield down to, you know, a third through two-thirds.
About two-thirds, yeah.
What the field would be, potentially, depending on how they take this bait. But you have to have enough out here to be worthwhile. You can't just throw one unit out to the side and hope that's enough to do it. We've got several chariots. We've got bray hunters.
Those are just tribal hunters?
Tribal hunters.
You've got a tribal, tribal chieftain on chariot.
I don't play with the smelly goat men.
Why we got a smell? I mean, that's kind of racist. I mean, wow. Also, you'll notice to the far left, he's got all 4 shooty units. So they've all got the ability to shoot 24.
Correct.
If they need to.
They're all fairly fast. They've all got shooting ability. Minimal shooting over here. This is something that you're going to have to be patient with. You want your opponent to come to you because you're going to tear apart what he's going to do once he gets there. Because these anvils, these blocks are going to just eat away things. That's not something you want to charge. You see both those units like that and sitting there and you got to come and get it. This isn't great for objective games. You want to throw things out there that you got to go claim, it's not that great.
Unless when you're laying down objectives, you go left or right heavy. Because you got to remember, the objectives, they've just got to be so far apart. No rules about where they are. Especially when you're placing them on your own. Now, in a tournament competitive game, they may be predetermined, so it may hurt you there. But what this does, when I'm across the table and I see this, it doesn't affect my deployment as much, but it affects my decisions. I've got to make hard decisions how I'm going to engage this stuff. This makes it hard for me because I pick your battles, pick your fights. How do I pick my fight here? You know, which crappy fight do I want? You know, the only fight I want here is the tribal hunters. You know, I'll take the chaff, but the problem is now whatever unit I got into them, because it's probably the unit I want to get into a horde or a stampede. Because I'm looking at these units, and all these units, they hit hard. They don't want to get hit hard. I can get one of them, but I got 4 left that I'm not going to get. So it makes you choose hard decisions on really your first and second turn about how you want to engage the enemy. And then you got the piss ants at the other end that, I mean, God forbid you're trying to move chaff up through here and they blow them off the table with a lucky, you know, 6.
This is deceptive because your opponent might look at that and say, well, I don't want to mess with that. That's
I'm not
a decoy. There's nothing I want to do with this. And then you leave it alone and you move your army to come in this and all of a sudden they're all behind you.
You got to remember, this is a unit with an 18-inch move.
Yeah.
This is a flank charge right here, right now.
Yeah.
That's a flank charge. I mean, and this makes you make those decisions you don't want to make. Because in Kings of War, as we say, sometimes you make decisions and you don't want to live with the price you have to pay.
No.
And this is why this game is so great. tactically, there's not a single unit in this game that'll blow your opponent off the table. But if you can get a series of units to work cohesively, you can do some real damage. So this is a deployment you won't see it a lot. Some people don't have the courage to try it and do it. Is it going to win you every game? No. No. But if you're maybe not as experienced or not as confident in how to engage it, go back to that psychology we just mentioned.
Correct.
So
I think there are some weaknesses to it.
yeah.
I think MSU could cause this some issues.
Sure.
If you've got multiple small units that could potentially draw this out enough to get behind it to break through these tiny gaps that are here, that's a problem. If it's engaged from multiple angles, if you get a front charge and a flank charge here, it's just going to get messy. It's going to hem things down, and it's not going to be the best situation. You're just going to have to stick it out and hope that it works.
This is a bad nerve roll nightmare.
Yeah.
You lose this unit or this
lose
unit
those.
to some lucky shooting nonsense, even a waiver for one
Yeah.
round, that really screws the pooch for everything you were trying to do. You know, you got these three on the end that you can lose, no big deal, but this right here, you can't lose any of that. Not in the first 3 rounds. So there's that danger for sure.
Yeah. You got a buddy that likes to play cavalry heavy or just a fast army, something like that.
Yeah.
Give this a shot and see how the game goes.
All right. Well, thanks for checking out our video. I appreciate it. If you like it, like it. If you want to really like it, share it. And if you really, 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 really like us, subscribe. Thanks.